All right, so this is officially our first podcast episode. We're going to get this going. We're going to see what we can turn it into, but this one is going to be just more fun. We're going to be reviewing some whiskeys. We're going to be doing a Q&A with our friend here, but to start us off, I want to give some introductions. We are the Whisky Boys. We're two whiskey enthusiasts exploring the world of whiskey. My name is Anthony. I live in Austin, Texas, originally from New Jersey. I now also run the ATX Drinker. Here is my buddy, Jeremiah.
Jeremiah, what's up? Still Jersey.
Yes, so. Still Jersey, other part of the Whisky Boys. We fell in love with whiskey together. We didn't fall in love with each other, just fell in love with whiskey. Yeah. But yeah, so we started the Whisky Boys. We're on Instagram and TikTok, and we figured why not throw some stuff on YouTube and see where it goes. Today, we are blessed by our friend, the average whiskey drinker, Andrew. He's going to be hanging out with us. We're going to be drinking some whiskey, and then he also had this idea that he was going to do a little interview with us on a live stream on like Instagram or TikTok. And I said, we're actually thinking about doing a podcast. So why don't we just do it on here? Yeah, so it's a good way to maybe start a conversation or answer some questions, just have some fun.
Absolutely. First off, thank you guys so much for inviting me. I'm honored and privileged for you guys to invite me to do this with you guys. My name's Andrew, average whiskey drinker on Instagram. And I first got, I'm pretty new to whiskey. I first got into whiskey, I think, December of 2023, and then ended up moving to Austin before that. But when I got into whiskey, I went onto Instagram. I was like, I'm going to make an Instagram account. And the first thing that popped up when I typed in Austin and whiskey was the Whisky Bros, and then as well as the ATX Drinker. And then you guys ended up doing an event, right, at about Angel's Envy.
Yep, downtown Austin.
Yep. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go and just like introduce myself and meet these celebrities because like they're, they had a bunch of followers, and they posted a bunch of really cool content on whiskey, and I was a newbie, so I wanted to meet these guys, and ended up meeting them. And before you meet people, you're always like really nervous. You're like, I don't know what to expect, right? Like these guys have been on Instagram for almost 3 years since.
I think about 3 years at that time.
Yeah, and so they had much more knowledge than I did. But then when I got there and met them, they were just normal dudes like me, and I was really shocked. I even texted my wife. I was like, babe, I think these are just like normal guys who really like whiskey, kind of like me. This is cool. So then we just ended up chatting. Anthony and I just, through Instagram ended up just kind of hanging out. And I started my own page and loved doing Instagram lives. And I was like, you guys have to be on an Instagram live. And you live in Jersey. And then you were coming to visit. We said, what better time to do it than just do a podcast, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, this kind of fell in our lap. I'm doing a podcast on the ATX Drinker page with my friend Rachel from 512 Bites. So I knew with you being in town in Austin, I thought it'd be fun to kind of do the podcast together. Yeah, man. And the timing was right.
Yeah. So thank you guys again. Let's get started then.
Let's get started. And if you hear somebody else, Kelsey, my girlfriend.
Hello.
She is with us today. She's just going to be having some drinks, just hanging out, which we love doing anyway. So yeah. To start us off, we're going to do a review of Shanks. If you're familiar, they're with Michters. Do you know anything specific about Shanks?
Yeah, I mean, this is like an ode to their Pennsylvania days when they were all the way back in Pennsylvania. And
I can pour it too if you want me to.
Thanks, man.
I'm doing small pours because we've been
we're going to be drinking a lot.
Tasting a bunch of stuff.
I've only drank water today.
We just came from Still Austin. We were doing a single barrel rye pick.
Okay, thank you.
And it's going to be available online, too. So if you're listening and you're in a different state and you've never had Still Austin, it's our favorite Texas whiskey. We have our bourbon pick out right now, and we're going to be doing a rye pick with a bunch of other creators, which is super cool.
Jeremiah, this is a sour mash, right? The Shanks is a sour mash.
This is their sour mash to go back, during that time. And sour mash isn't sour. It's just the way that
I thought it was things. When we first started.
Yeah, right, same.
And this is the 2023 release, so this is last year's release. They actually just released 24.
Mm-hmm. I saw that.
So maybe we'll get our hands on it in September.
Fingers crossed.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
All right, so let me get started then. So I'm sure you guys get asked this all the time, but...
Wait, I want to do a full Shanks review first.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. Just because I think this will be fun to also toss a part of it onto Instagram and TikTok.
Let's do it.
So let's all give it a try. Let's give some notes that we think, and then kind of our review of it. Because this one is a more expensive one for the proof.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's about $100 MSRP, I think.
Yeah, we're definitely at about $100. Yeah. 91.2 proof. Kind of funny.
Michter's always does low proof stuff. Like Michter's never gets super high proof, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean, this is one of my favorite Michter's releases personally.
Does Michter's own Shanks?
They make it.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I didn't know that. Surprisingly,
Pretty sure it's
because
named
I
after.
love Michter's.
I think it's named after one of the owners. I think
John. Shanks.
John. Exactly. John Shanks. Jonathan Shanks.
Oh,
Yep.
that's
And
fun.
They also do bomb burgers, which is another one of their limited releases.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Usually they come to. You can buy them like in a pack together sometimes. But
This
I
is
got this
great.
one from a local store in Austin, and was very happy.
What's
when
the
I
age
got
of this, Jeremiah? Because right off the bat, I get some oakiness.
I actually
immediately.
don't think that they.
I don't think they say, right?
state age.
Yeah.
Something that Google's could tell us.
I get some good oak on it.
Oak. I get a lot of honey.
Ooh, I smell a lot of street corn.
Street corn.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Elote.
Yeah.
You travel? You like to travel, girl?
Yeah. Do you travel?
You've been out of the country.
Street corn. Definitely a little black pepper on the finish.
100%. Yeah. A little bit of spice and a little bit of kick to it where I get the black pepper.
Yeah. I almost want to say black tea.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I get.
Yes.
Black
There's
tea?
like that. Black tea is a great with a little bit of lemon.
Yeah. Yeah, citrus. There's citrus note.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite note of bourbon or in general whiskey is like when you get like a hint of citrus.
Yeah.
Just like you get sweet, you get a little bit of oakiness, and then just tied together, you get the like citrus feel.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah, it's a great pour.
Wow.
It's a great pour. I had this at the Whiskey Riot.
Do you like Shanks or Bombergers more?
So I'm a Shanks person.
Okay,
Yeah,
me
but
too.
I think the majority of people like Bomber. I think
you're right.
if you ask like the average person who drinks Michter stuff, I think they all say they like Bombergers
Yeah.
more.
What about
A
you?
little higher proof. So
Yeah.
I actually go in between,
Yeah.
kind of like what I'm feeling as far as do I want to go a little bit higher proof or not. But the Shanks right now, this is really good.
This is good.
What about you, Kelsey? Do you have? Sorry.
Well, I was going to say I
Wasn't
didn't see anything
prepared.
about each, so I have no idea.
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
it
They
doesn't say about
don't
each.
state anything,
Yeah.
no. What do you think?
I enjoy it. Silly to say, but I think it's smooth.
I think this
But
is a
I
smoother one.
think,
Yeah.
but I think I really enjoy it a lot because Michter's is one of my favorite whiskey brands.
Can't go wrong with them.
Yeah,
Dude,
you
and I know
can
that's one of your
never-
guys' favorite whiskey. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just it's really easy to hate on Buffalo Trace, right? Like,
Sure.
everyone's like, "Oh, you're a tater." You're
We
like,
don't honestly.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But you really can't hate on
It's
Michter's.
solid.
Yeah.
Like it's so hard to hate on Michter's. Like all their stuff, like even their single barrel rye, an amazing old fashioned. Like all their stuff, their bourbon is just incredible. Like Michter's just does amazing things.
So for $100, are we buying it?
100%.
Yeah.
Oh my
for
god.
me, yeah.
Oh my god.
Definitely.
I'll buy
And,
3 of them.
you know, I think they're actually a little bit different, the year releases. So I think that's also fun. that,
Yeah.
There's not a huge difference because it's all going to be sour mash. It's all going to be.
Mm-hmm.
But I think you're going to find different notes throughout the year. So I think it's something that, for me personally, I'm definitely getting if I can find them.
Yeah.
But I think that's also a fun thing to compare the year releases as well.
For sure.
Love that. All right, perfect. So that's our Shanks review. Everybody recommends it. Everybody likes it.
100%.
Big Michter's fans.
Old school, look too.
Great.
That's
bottle
what I like about it
design.
too. They're not trying to be
Beautiful
too flashy, but it's still a cool design. Yeah.
Great bottle design. Yeah, that one. And then, with Michter's, we love the Michter's 10, rye and bourbon. We love the sour mash. We just had a toasted sour mash,
Oh
which was
my God.
insane,
God.
in my opinion.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. But also, we can't sleep on like what almost got us into drinking neat was the American.
American was our
It
first one.
So
yeah.
approachable, so easy to drink, and had certain flavors that we can pull out that got us into drinking neat.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this. So let's just do this because
Yeah.
it'll be very easy to put out there. Let's go around. Everybody's gonna say their favorite Michter's release that they've
Y'all
ever
gonna
had,
say mine.
or your favorite Michter's whiskey, whatever you want to call
I
it.
already know yours, so that's fine.
No, mine.
All right. Sorry.
For me, now I'm going to go with realistic because I want to say Michter's 20, 25, whatever. Because I had the 20 was the best pour I've ever had. But
Would be
more
nice.
attainable, the Michter's 10 year bourbon is personally something that every
solid.
time I sip it, I'm impressed. It's a classic bourbon. From what I remember, it's like caramel, even a little cherry. Like what you look for in a bourbon. It's everything in that with like a little more complexity.
Yeah, that's fair.
So that's mine.
Yeah, for me, the Michter Sour Mash toasted was everything that we love about Sour Mash, but like turned up a dial. Not because of proof. I don't think it was because of proof, but I don't think proof was higher. But there was just so much additional depth to it that that was a standout. I mean, I go that between that and then the barrel proof rye.
Yeah, another great one.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Kelsey.
I would go with Michter's rye.
Just regular rye?
Just regular
Wow.
rye.
It's a rye girly.
You can find
I
it
mean,
anywhere.
I am such a rye girly, and I feel like
Love it.
Michter's, you can't go wrong, but Michter's rye.
100%.
You can drink it before you're going out. You
Yep.
can drink it while you're having a nice dinner. You can drink it if you're just chilling at home watching a good movie. You could drink it with a cigar. It's just, again, it's classic and it's very versatile.
I think the
It's
key
just-
too
it's-
is that you can find it everywhere.
That's
that
the key.
too.
You
That's
one of
don't
the
have
best
to, you don't have
parts
to
of that
chase it. You don't have to
Yeah.
wait in line. You don't have to pay extra
Yeah.
money for it. It's just $45, $40,
Exactly.
$45.
Whether
Yeah.
you're out somewhere just drinking or having a good dinner,
Yeah.
most places have it. I think it's a all-around stand-up. great
Michter's needs to hire you the way you're talking about
Yeah,
it.
right.
You get a dinner, you could do it before you go out.
Michter. Yeah.
Like Michter's, if you're watching this.
Yeah, sponsor us, please. Hi.
You know how mad I would be if she got hired by Michter's?
you guys are like, I've been trying to piss Michter's. We've been here the whole time.
Like, babe, I'll get you a sample.
Or she's like, sorry, we only send it to exclusive people. I'm like, I'm literally your boyfriend.
It's funny because we've been talking about getting a second dog, and if we get a boy dog, we're
Michter's?
like, Michter's a cute name.
Oh, if
a-
I
that
do
is a
that and
cute
they don't
name.
send me some bottles,
Yeah,
Bro, yeah.
it's like, come
done.
on.
Yeah, if they don't send you bottles, yeah.
I know. Michter and Weller.
Weller's a good dog
Cute.
name.
Weller's a good dog name.
That's
Yeah.
a good dog
Yeah,
name.
yeah.
Yeah.
All
super
right,
cute.
that could be
Anyway,
another reel later. We'll do the best dog names related to whiskey.
Well, that's a good one.
That's good.
2023 Michter's barrel strength.
I like it.
So 2021 and 2023 are my favorite ones, but the 2023 one is just if you're not a rye drinker and you don't think you're a rye drinker, honestly, have a Michter's barrel strength rye. It'll change your mind, or a 10-year rye.
Yeah.
like it'll literally change your mind.
Very unique. It's,
It's
like
just-
almost syrupy. in
Oh
a
my
way.
god, it's so good, so good. Yeah, the barrel strengths. I think it's one of their highest proof to it. It's one. I think mine's 110, like 0.8 or something like that.
Wow.
But yeah,
There's also not an extreme proof, you know.
Yeah.
They're never like that.
they don't do. I don't think
over.
Michter's does hazmat or anything like
Right.
that. Yeah, they just keep it at like 100 to 110.
Right.
Yeah, which I appreciate.
Which is very pleasant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I know. Like we said, we're going to do the interview. I'll just let you run with it. I think
man.
it's going to just spark some conversation, so we're not going to do it as like a serious Q&A.
Yeah.
But thank you for putting this together and wanting to.
Dude, thanks for inviting me, man.
Yeah, of course.
I'm honored.
Yeah, like this
Yeah.
will be fun. So
Yeah. All right. So I'm sure you guys get asked this all the time, but I feel like there's people that are still new to the whiskey world, right? That are new to social media and want to know, like, how do you get started? How do you get started into number one, whiskey, number two, social media? How did you guys get started?
I'll take whiskey because I don't know social media.
Social media hard.
But yeah, I mean, for whiskey, and specifically for us, we started cocktails. So you're mixing your whiskey, and then you're going to ice. You're diluting your whiskey, maybe a little bit of water, so still diluting it, but now taking it at a different temperature.
Sure.
And these are all going to be explorations, different, just trying different ways, and then neat. So that was our process, and I think that's a pretty good process for somebody just starting out. It's the same thing that I recommend, for anybody who's like, I want to get into it.
Yeah.
You have to explore, and unfortunately, you got to drink a lot of it.
Oh, unfortunately.
that's why people are like, "How do you get tasting notes?" I'm like, 3 to 4 years of drinking, and I
That's it.
still feel only like we're 50% of the way
Barely.
there. Yeah,
We talk about this all the time. We're like, we feel like we got notes, but it's just so hard to like nail down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then with social media, for us, it really was a hobby just turned into something bigger. As some people know, this is like my full-time job now. So if you're just finding us, people think that's interesting. But when we started, we weren't getting into social media for it to be a full-time job. We weren't getting into it to be someone that had a ton of followers.
Right.
We were doing it because we were just sitting at home bored.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, maybe we can keep track of our whiskeys.
Sure.
If we do a post on Instagram, give it a little review. And then 3 months from now, we're going to look back. Which ones did we like? Which ones didn't we like?
Yeah.
But I think because it was a hobby we loved, other people were attracted to that, and then they were using it as recommendations. So that's like a tip for social media in general. Let it be part of your everyday life, and then it'll work out. But if you start doing it for other reasons because you want to make money, it's never going to work.
Yeah.
And I think, that I would use the word authenticity. Just being yourself, that will translate best to the audience audience takes that, and then that's how.
I think you guys hit the nail on the head. Is so many people, especially young people like our age, like I guess I'm young, but see social media and see all these influencers, and I hate to throw that word out there, influencers, but and they're like, oh wow, all they do is travel and go to restaurants and get stuff for free. Like that's what I want to do. So then they create their Instagram with the goal of being popular, and I honestly think that you can see that and you can feel that, you know, in the reels that you post. Whereas when I watch your guys' stuff, it's just two dudes just being goofy, drinking whiskey.
That's what we're already doing.
And that's what I
idiots
and that's what I love. And that's what I love. And that's what drew me to you guys. And so when I created my Instagram, like this sounds really corny, but I was like, you guys are like my like people that I look up to, like my idols, you know. So when you guys created yours, did you guys have someone you were looking up to, or did you have any influencers that you were looking up to?
I can answer this question because it's kind of the reason we got into whiskey, not even social media. We were really into the whiskey tribe.
Oh yeah.
Whiskey Vault. There was like 2 pages, and funny enough, the ending to the story is even more interesting. But we were just on YouTube looking up whiskey reviews because we were interested in maybe doing a tasting at home during COVID. I hope it's not wrong to say that because sometimes it impacts the videos you post. But we had nothing to do, so that we said, let's do tastings. So we typed in YouTube, and Whiskey Tribe popped up to see 2 guys that were just so interesting. They were funny. They were just relaxed, having fun. And the way they would describe the whiskeys were like food items. So they would say carrot cake with the icing on top. And it made us go, oh, I got to try that bottle now. Oh, this one tastes like a sweet green apple. I need to try it. So we would watch a new review, go to the liquor store, search for that bottle, even if it was a Evan Williams, you know, bottled in bond.
Sure, anything. Yeah.
And then go from there. Funny enough, anyway, I now live in Austin several years later, and I didn't realize they're posted up 20 minutes south of Austin. They have a location here. Yeah. So maybe we were thinking about maybe going there tomorrow. We'll see. But yeah, right. I mean, I think for us, the people we looked up to most was those guys on YouTube.
And they were similar. You know, they were approachable. They felt like everyday guys. We felt like we could be friends with them. So maybe we can be. I don't know. But you know, that's and I think that translates exactly to audience and et cetera. So
okay, so now fast forward to when you guys Whiskey Tribe, you're like, oh, they're awesome. Let's start doing an Instagram thing. Let's come up with a name. And you're like, oh. Whisky Boys. That sounds good. So I have so many questions about your guys' name, but I guess the first question is, how did you even come up with the name?
Interesting.
Good question.
Yeah, I think it was just more like we wanted to create a community. That's kind of like where we started because the Whiskey Tribe was a large following. Okay. It was kind of hard to they do have like Facebook and all that stuff so you can plug in, but it didn't feel like we would have to travel. We were in New Jersey, so we would have to travel to Austin to hang out with them. So what could we create, you know, around us? And that's what we wanted to translate in just having the name, obviously around whiskey. So that was the easy part. Yeah. The hard part was that the spelling was already taken.
That was my next question, actually.
But we'll talk about that in a second. But so then, you know, we thought like, okay, what also describes us as like, you know, we were going to do buddies and friends or, you know, but we were boys, you know. Right. So being friends or close friends, that's, you know, how we thought about it. And that we can create another, you know, friendship with other people that can also be our boys and gals. You know, it's not, you know,
that's
gender,
awesome. Yeah, of course.
You know, just more about friendship. So that was my thing of coming up with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Did you guys intend to leave out the E in whiskey?
Yeah, so it's funny. I mean, you know, when you have to make the name, you can type it in, and then Instagram will say it's already taken. And we tried every different way of putting it without the underscore, just Whiskey Boys without the. But pretty much what happened was it was taken in every way. Okay. And the one that is out there is the Whiskey Boys, and it's a band with like 200 followers on Instagram. We even DM'd them because we were going to pay them to have the name.
That's awesome.
And they just never responded to us. And what's crazy, I got to give them credit. They're still active. Like they, But small page. It's a local band in some random neighborhood. That's called the Whiskey Boys.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
So when I first found out you guys from Jersey, my first instinct was, oh yeah, the Whiskey Boys, the Jersey Boys. Oh, they're just doing a take on the Jersey Boys. Any intent in that, or was it just completely coincidental?
No intent.
No.
You blew my mind when you just said that. I had no idea that
subconsciously.
I guess maybe it was subconscious.
If you can go back in time right now, so like say so you guys started what in 2020 or 2019? Would you say drinking whiskey?
2020?
Late 20 or maybe early 21.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah, that we actually like started
Okay.
the page.
I still
but
feel new.
we started drinking 20. Yeah.
If Jeremiah now, Anthony now could go back in times and be like, hey, let me tell you something about the whiskey, like about whiskey. What would you tell yourself, like that you know going in now? So for me, it'd be like, hey, don't get caught up in all like the hype of like Buffalo Trace stuff. Enjoy normal whiskey. Like, what would you guys tell yourself?
I mean, just to bounce off of that, and I know I'm probably not even answering your question
No.
right away, but I do miss that. In the beginning, everything was new.
Yeah, right.
So like we would be like,
Yeah.
let's just go grab some random $20 bottles.
This is amazing.
And it was fun to
You're
try
so
the
excited.
differences and all this
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And now that we're 4 years deep, there is this, I know what's good, I know what's bad, or I know what people want. And it pulls me for that chase. I mean, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I would even say, kind of piggybacking off of you, still avoiding the question because we're good politicians. I would say that even today, trying the rye,
Yeah.
I just thought about our small journey, just over a few years, how much our taste buds have changed.
Yeah.
From the previous,
Yep.
and thinking about you even in your journey,
Yep.
you're probably going to come back to certain things that you actually didn't like now, but may like in the future, vice versa. So
Yeah.
it's just interesting. And I think the biggest thing is using this as a craft and completely always educating yourself or exploring. And that's what makes it fun, is just trying different things.
100%, dude.
And
Yeah.
so to answer your question, I would say that I would tell myself that.
Okay.
Start slow, like get your groundwork done, because how we started, actually, some of my first bottles were from the Top 20 magazine from Whiskey Advocate.
Nice.
And, I was chasing like number 1 and number 2, but some of them were like allocated or like
Right.
an Arbeg black, like, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Going that high of, the scotch and stuff, that's insane. But,
Yeah.
so yes, I would just say start with like the basics. So that way you understand where things are coming from, and you can develop your palate, I think, more evenly or balanced that way.
100%. And so you brought up a good. So I feel like you read all my notes. You brought up a good point about the palate and how it evolves. I feel like when I first started drinking, like Buffalo Trace was my first thing, right? And so it was all about the sweet profile, low proof. And the more I start drinking, the more my palate evolves, right? What do you guys think your palate's evolved into? Like, what did you guys start off with, and now what do you like?
Great question. For me, I was a sweet guy. So, like,
Yeah.
I used to drink old fashions a lot, and I actually liked extra simple syrup in there.
Yeah.
Or when you gave me a whiskey neat, I would ask for a squeezed orange to try to evolve into just drinking whiskey neat. But now, I mean, I'm finding ryes that are very dry. I'm finding other types of whiskeys out there that might be like peppery or very woody with almost no sweetness to it. Unique, because I'm pulling out those notes. And it also depends on the situation. So if we are having barbecue, sometimes certain whiskeys go good with that. Or if we're having a cigar, there's certain whiskeys that might not be sweet, but when you have it with a cigar, become sweet. So these are things that in the beginning, I was just like,
whatever.
So that's a big one for me.
Yeah, same. And I felt like I went through this is expensive, old, high proof phase, where that's like what really mattered.
Right.
And it was, now I'm like, this low proof, there's so much depth to this, there's so much mouthfeel, know, and so you're looking for other things than those categories, and it doesn't matter, price doesn't matter anymore. Not that it doesn't matter, but like I'm not looking for the most expensive thing. And also now we know age, doesn't matter much as far as it's older, so then it's better. That
It's not,
that's a fallacy,
Yeah.
especially in the early years when you're thinking, or I went through a high proof. I'm not drinking anything less than 50%. And that's not,
Absolutely.
that I don't think that translates to a good whiskey.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I'm going to call my dad out right now, but my dad's one of those people that he's like, if this is above 12 years and it's more than $100 and the proof is above 120, it's got to be good whiskey.
Yeah.
And that's just, I mean,
It can be.
it can't exactly, it can't be, but that's just not the truth at all. There are so many good. Again, we're
Do
going
you
to
hear
keep
that, Papa
referencing.
Wang? Do you hear that?
We're going to keep referencing Michters, but again, Michters is one of those that it doesn't have to be above 110 proof. It doesn't have to be $200. Like there are so many good whiskeys out there. Which again, I feel like your guys' page highlights that because you guys go to so many different craft distilleries, and you just find all these mom and pop shops that you're like, this is amazing stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the craft scene, exactly. You
Yeah.
know, they're they're bending a lot of rules. And so, and keeping within the rules, but they're bending that and new thinking. So, I mean, even still, around here, it's just, they're just doing things different.
So give me your guys' favorite new craft distillery discovered in 2024. And that you might need to think about it for a little bit.
I mean, I think recently, I was pretty impressed with Fort Hamilton recently.
Yeah.
We're in New York, and I think their style of rye was, pretty interesting to me.
Yeah.
And what they're doing, I mean, it's such a struggle and so much work.
I know.
To start a distillery, to go through that journey, the amount of time, the amount of all of the little dials that you can press and turn to make a whiskey is just, it blows my mind. So I appreciated, everything that I learned there, and I was pretty impressed with their rye.
Cool.
Yeah, they were interesting because rye was a big thing with whiskey in New York City throughout their history. And the guy who also owns it came from Widowed Chain, which I thought was interesting.
Cool. Yeah,
so to see him hop over there and try to
yeah.
start his own thing, I have to agree. That was the first one that came to mind. Where else were we before? I don't know if does this count as craft, but Nelson Greenbrier.
Yeah, I think so.
Sure.
Right? So like
So they
that was
do
a
amazing
really
stuff.
interesting because we just got this honey cask.
I've heard such good things about
It was the best honey whiskey I've ever tried, even though it's not like flavored with honey. But yeah, it seems like what the stuff they're putting out is really unique. And also, as somebody who lives in Austin and I'm all about experiences over everything, it's really cool that, in Nashville, that's a spot for whiskey lovers to go.
absolutely.
And have that experience. Really good dining experience,
was good, yeah.
really good
Right,
tour.
yeah.
I think they even do like live music next door.
Yeah.
So that would be my recommendation.
Yeah, I got so much FOMO seeing your guys' reel on that. That looked amazing. Mine is Driftless Glen. They're out of Baraboo, Wisconsin. So my wife's from Wisconsin, so we went to go visit them. And again, same exact thing. Amazing tour, amazing food, amazing cocktails, and they're honestly their cast strength rye, out of this world. Incredible rye. I have the bottle. I gotta pop it open at some point.
Heck yeah. I want to explore them a little bit more.
Yeah, but I mean, when you visit these craft distillers and you see how much work they put into it, and how much blood and sweat, I mean, not blood, but sweat and
The people they murdered. The people
right? Yeah, all the blood they put into their barrels. Like, you feel bad when you see people be like, this whiskey sucks. So I hate that because
I know.
I feel like you can say this whiskey's not for me. Like, I'm not a fan of this whiskey, but it's so hard to be like, this whiskey sucks. So I mean, how do you guys feel about so I'm sure you guys get sent so many bottles from so many distilleries. How do you guys deal with that when you get a bottle that you're not a fan of? Because you don't want to just throw a distillery under the bus, right?
Yeah, I mean, we'd certainly highlight what we do like about it,
Yeah.
even if it's
Yeah.
just bottle design.
For sure.
Because maybe it does suck right now. And that's the difference with craft is it takes so much time and that it can turn into something
100%.
that can be glorious. and
What do you guys
beautiful
think
like
about
that,
like
but-
the age of a whiskey? Do you think it has to reach a certain point to be good? Like I don't think I've ever had a 6-month whiskey that was good.
Exactly. Yeah. Corn is just too much. You just don't get enough. It's just science. It's almost impossible to
Yeah.
have something
Yeah, you're
that
right.
young
Yeah.
that is going to taste and compete with something that's
It's hard.
older. But,
So like, what do you think? 2 years you're happy with, or
I mean, if it's straight 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And then you're seeing, some sort of character.
Yeah.
Besides that, I mean, unless
usually
they're
rare.
playing something crazy with their mash bill or something like that, but without some age on it, it's really hard.
I think you have to have
Yeah.
at least 2 years under your belt, right? Yeah. It's pretty tough for that.
let's jump into the next whiskey review.
Let's do it, man.
Kelsey, would you mind grabbing me a little bit more water? Sure. Water, not water. That's my Jersey.
Your
coming
Jersey accent's coming out. Yeah.
out. Thank you. Is everybody? You guys are good.
Oh, I'm just
You
drinking.
sure?
I'm brown water
All right.
all day.
What's that?
Yeah. So really fun story. Let me actually hold this. So we're about to review. This is Hardin's Creek,
Oh, man.
Frankfurt. We were just in New York City, and we were invited to the Centauri headquarters. And this is owned by Jim Beam. This is one of their more rare releases, harder to find, I would say. And they gifted us a bottle. So I thought it'd be fun to kind of open it on the podcast today.
Oh, you're cracking it?
We'll give our review.
Dude.
Heck yeah, man.
Dude.
What did we try when we were there?
We tried. Which one is this? Frankfurt.
Frankfurt.
We tried.
Are you allowed to say everything you tried? Because you guys tried some
Yeah, we tried some other
insane
stuff,
stuff.
Old Granddad's 16 year?
Yeah, that would be fun.
That's
you kidding
out
me?
of this world.
What were the other? Oh my goodness, what are the other?
You guys did a beam special thing, right? What
We
was
did
it?
Beam,
Do you know the
Jim
other
Beam and
two
Lineage.
releases of this?
I honestly, I'm not too familiar with
Boston?
Hardin's Creek. Yeah,
Boston.
yeah. There's
We tried
Boston. Yep,
Boston.
yep.
Yeah.
Boston, I heard, is like possibly the best one, but other people flip. So they say sometimes this is the best one, but I'm sure everybody feels differently.
And what's interesting about these are that they found like 3 different rig houses, and they're named after the rig house that it's from and the area that it's from. So
Oh, Frankfurt, Boston.
correct.
That makes so much
And
sense.
Boston
What
is
about
not
that?
Boston, Massachusetts. It's Boston, the rig house that it was aged in. And so what they detail on the bottle is the temperature, because all 3 of these.
And then put it like right here.
All 3 of these releases, or all 3 of the series, they found that each one of those rick houses had different rain, temperature, breeze.
That's so cool.
So
So
they
they-
actually put all of that on the bottle, which I think is crazy. But this is the low temperature, low sunlight, wet air,
Wow.
and low elevation. This was aged for 204 months. Who knows how old that is?
Oh.
204 divided.
Wait, 204 months?
Yeah,
Wait, so that's more than 12 years? So what was that, 50?
that's 17 years.
I was going to say that's 15, 16. I was trying to do my math. Wow.
17
That's a
years.
banger right there.
So
Well,
when
dude,
we're talking about
gorgeous
age,
bottle.
Thank you guys for sharing this, man.
Let's
Yeah,
see if
cheers,
this-
everybody.
Man, I've heard such good things about Hardin's Creek.
Yeah,
too.
this is a banger bottle. I already think it's good before I sip it.
Well, you can definitely taste the 17. No, I'm kidding.
And we're at 55 proof, or 55%, 110 proof.
Guys,
Okay, so it's up there.
guys. This is
Early thoughts?
it's incredible. There's a lot of complexity to it, so I'm trying to figure my stuff out. Sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
wow.
Give me a little bit. I'm new to this.
Sale sample, not for resale. Gorgeous bottle, though.
This is
I
great.
love this on top.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we can get into this later, but I posted something on Instagram the other day about branding and how much branding affects a bottle.
100%.
And while
It's huge.
while you never want to judge a book by its cover,
Sure.
it still plays a role, right?
Absolutely.
You find a bottle that looks really ugly. Are you gonna pick it off the shelf and look at it?
It doesn't draw your eye to it.
It doesn't draw. So if it doesn't draw your eye to it, you're not gonna sample it, right?
Yep.
So yeah,
So it's key. And I mean, even that, think about like, look at these bottles.
they're
There's not one.
they're good looking bottles.
They're all
Right.
different. They're
Yeah.
all different sizes. They're all different. You know, that's and the extra labels and all that kind of stuff is it's overwhelming.
This is wonderful. So I get a lot of nuttiness,
Yes,
which is probably
me
where the
too.
beam where the beam comes from.
Yeah, that's like regular Jim Beam. I'm not a fan of,
Dude.
But so many of their other releases,
I'm
I am.
right with you. Yep.
That was going to be a question that I had after reading that
Yeah.
label.
Come a
It
little
says-
closer to that. You're good. I think you're just like 7
I
feet.
You're
was-
lounge.
I was chilling, sorry.
You're good too. I mean, it's not that big of a
So
deal.
after looking at the label on the top around the neck of the bottle, it says James Beam.
Oh yeah.
Is that different from Jim Beam?
I think it's the same person. I think it just goes by Jim's.
They
You know how
just-
Jim and James? I think so.
I mean, they.
I think they go
they're the same
interchangeably.
names.
Yeah, I think it's the same person. I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But don't quote me on that though. You guys
Yeah.
might know better than I do. But I'm pretty sure James and Jim are the same person.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've just never seen James Beam, so.
Yeah.
So I looked. It says $170.
Wow.
I found
On MSRP though.
MSRP.
Yeah. So secondary, you're looking at like $400, $500 probably.
wild,
yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Is this the one that you guys grabbed in New York?
Yeah, man.
So I got some random review online. I was trying to find the website to see what else I would see out there. We can obviously give our opinion on what
Yeah.
we find, but it says burnt caramel,
Okay.
dried raisins,
Yep.
Oh.
baked pie crust. Let me see. Flavors
Which, by the way, there's nothing wrong with doing what Anthony is doing right now because this is how I review all my whiskeys. I do my first run through pass and then I look it up because how can you learn?
see what you agree with, what
If
you
you
don't
don't-
agree with.
exactly.
Yeah, there's times where I
There's-
don't agree
there's
with what
And
I
how are
nothing
you going
wrong.
to learn those flavors?
Exactly. I'm so
Yeah.
new to it. So this is still how I do it. I'll jot down my own tasting notes and then I'll compare it to what experts say and then see if I agree or disagree. Yeah.
What was that? Peanut butter and jelly?
Peanut butter jelly
It
time.
is very
Is that
nutty.
Pete Terry's burger?
I get a lot of nuttiness. Yeah. But that is wonderful.
The one thing I did see, graham cracker.
Oh yeah.
I could see that more because it said cinnamon at first, and I don't get a strong cinnamon at all. Because amber.
Amberana.
I feel like
I
that
mean-
stuff is too much. But this one, is like a light, very light cinnamon.
It's like I'm gonna go with like a raisin bagel.
See,
on the
That's
nose.
so good.
but this is the thing.
so
This is the thing.
good.
We had this conversation before. I
so
honestly
mad.
feel like females just have better sense of smell,
But
better sense of
also,
everything. Probably.
Notice what she did. What does it remind me of?
Right.
Yes.
I can't do that though.
And
I can't
that
do it.
pulls out the flavor.
And-
So if you're thinking about, cookies,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so what's a chocolate? What's a sweet?
So
That's how you can get.
so my dad beating me as a child.
Leather belt.
Never seeing him.
I
since
can't.
was
I can't
12.
do that though. I don't. I can tell you if it's sweet. I can tell you like, oh, it's I have like 10 tasting notes I do, but I can't just pull like what Christian did with Still Austin. He'd
Yeah.
be like, oh, it's butter.
he's good.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
just.
I mean, I will say, not to toot my own horn, I
it.
am
Toot it.
very,
Dude, it.
I am very good on the nose, but I do need a sip or two of the whiskey first so I can get it on my palate. And then
Yeah.
as I smell it, I'm also not only inhaling the nose,
Yeah.
but I'm also kind of inhaling the aftertaste
the-
of it on my
the
tongue.
two are interchangeable.
If that makes sense.
No, it
Your
does.
smell is your
Watch
taste. Your
out,
taste is your smell.
Nancy.
I know. That's how Fred Minnick.
Yeah. Move over, Fred.
Yeah.
This is really good though. Honestly, if you would have blinded me, though, I would not have guessed 17 years on this thing.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't hit
Yeah, but
like that.
Yeah, 17 years. Wow, that is crazy.
All right, let's make this one interesting. So, Hardin's Creek, Frankfurt, 17-year, $170 MSRP. Everybody, give us a 1 out of 10. You can do decimals.
Cool.
I'll start with Kelsey.
Taking into the MSRP?
Yeah. Right or no?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
MSRP is what you're gonna.
You always got to take into account the price,
Rate
right?
it,
That's
yeah.
what. Yeah.
That's because how we think about it is, would I buy it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I got my number.
Okay, you go first.
I'm an 8 out of 10. So 100% would buy at MSRP. Kelsey.
My turn?
Yep.
Okay. I think I'm a solid like 7.3.
Okay. Jeremiah's like 11.
We're like,
Are you really?
8.1. Nah.
It's top. I'm tossed up right now too.
Yeah, I'm definitely below 10, but definitely above 7. Between that 7 and 8 range.
Yeah.
It's a little expensive.
Right. 100%.
That's
But
the
it's
down.
old, and actually, it's not that expensive if you're
For
thinking about
17
Remember, you
years.
guys paid
Yeah.
$200 for the Michter's 10.
Right.
Remember that.
Or
That's one of my-
Russell's 15.
Yep. Oh,
at
250.
250.
This is 2 years older
So
than that.
now
for
we're
$80
like, okay,
cheaper.
are we value? So yeah, that's where I go up, but the nuttiness of it not super huge.
Yeah, we all agree kind of on the nuttiness.
Yeah. I'm like
and,
a.
and that's where I thought Boston was better.
Yeah, it didn't feel
Had
like
more
this one did
citrus, it had
seem.
more,
Okay.
cherry and stuff like that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say for me 7.6.
Okay.
We were all saying it's amazing. I think it is amazing.
Yeah.
That like, if somebody told me this was a $50 bottle, I'd probably give it like a 9.1
Yeah,
or
yeah,
something.
I know.
That's where price is a factor,
It does,
right?
it does play a role. Absolutely. Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
for
so
sure.
I love it. It's just what it's missing to be on the negative side is I would want a little bit more complexity.
Fair.
It's I think like the older whiskeys sometimes have a little bit more of that syrupiness because it's pulled all that flavor into it.
Yep.
This one does seem a little more watered down. That's really a negative, but I don't want it to sound bad.
Wow.
We're never
know
going to be
why?
able to talk to
Because it
Jim
was-
Beam again.
Looks like we're not going to the tour anymore.
Because it was in wet air.
Yeah.
But it's honestly still a 7.6. Like
It's
that's
very
no,
good.
it's super solid for
it's
sure.
good.
So
I still probably would buy it, honestly.
So I'm a big UFC fan. Like I'm a big mixed martial arts person, and one of the terms I love using is pound for pound, which means based off of how much you weigh, how good are you? So based off of how much you cost, how good are you?
Yeah, like if I was 120, I'd be pound for
Pound
pound,
for pound,
the greatest
the-
fighter of all
the-
time.
yep,
But I like brownies, and everybody knows this. So pound for pound, I'm
Yep.
struggling right now.
So one of my favorite pound to pound bottles is the Heaven Hill 7-year bottle and bond. So I always like to compare pound to pound. So like pound for pound, this probably wouldn't be up there for 170. Heaven Hill bottle and bond is a $45 bottle, right? So
Yeah.
you take into account how much you like it, how much it costs, and then you compare it. And
Great point.
yeah. So that's what I like to do. Yeah.
Love that. All right, let's jump back into some more topics.
Where were we? I don't even know what we're talking about.
You were talking about how like when you were a child you used to struggle with
Getting paid.
You were talking about how they got their name.
Yeah, we talked about your guys' name. So we talked about some craft distilleries, right? We said we're our favorite craft distilleries. So let's do a little bit of like a little bit of like speed tasting questions because I'm curious. We're gonna shoot out some questions. And I kind of want you guys to go around and then just kind of answer what comes off the top of your head. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. So fill in the blank. If I were not drinking whiskey today, and it's got to be alcohol. It can't be like orange juice. If I were not drinking whiskey today, I would be drinking.
Mezcal.
We skipped up. And it's like you took my.
You weren't answering for me, right?
No. He said when I asked that question, you just shoot.
Oh no, he's gonna go around.
All right. What was that?
You silly goose.
Mezcal. She took it. Well, you can still say mezcal.
I was gonna say mezcal too. It's my favorite.
Same.
No, I would say wine or tequila. But if it was a spirit, wine or tequila. I was gonna
This
say
is five.
wine
You have
or
the five.
beer.
Yeah.
But it doesn't do
And
spirit.
if it was gonna be spirit, it would be tequila. But wine or beer.
And if you could only pick one of those two,
I would say wine.
Let's get more specific. What
Yeah.
kind of wine?
wine is
If I had to choose
White
a
or red?
wine,
Yeah.
I would probably say red.
What kind of red?
Valenzano.
I mean, there's a lot of. I tend to go like Barolo, like Italian, like
Okay.
kind of heavier. I eat a lot of steak too, so
Yeah.
I feel like and I like the umami flavor.
Yeah.
So I think like a Barolo would
Okay.
have to be
Okay.
around that.
You guys ready for the next one? All right, ready?
We're
gonna
gonna
go
go.
in order?
Okay.
You want to start with Kelsey?
We're
Or do you
going
want-
Let's do
around.
clockwise.
All right, ready?
I mean, I might need a
right.
second. So
Okay.
no. You
Okay,
can go
then
this
don't
way.
Now you
yell
need
it
to
out,
dive into
Missy.
All right, ready?
It's me.
Favorite cocktail?
Old fashioned.
Damn. Yeah, you took mine too.
I mean, honestly, sorry if we're gonna just jump into it. It's a New York sour.
Does Aperol Spritz count?
Oh, yeah,
All right,
that
then
counts.
Aperol Spritz.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Cool. Good answer.
Really?
It's summertime.
It's
You
just
are a little
summertime.
zesty. boy.
Yeah,
You got a little left.
that's interesting.
I did not. I love that. That's a good answer.
Cocktail. That's super hard question for me because it kind of depends on the mood that I'm in.
5, 4,
I'm
3.
gonna go dirty martini.
What kind of alcohol? Vodka? In your martini?
Yeah, vodka.
Okay.
I've had it with a tequila a few times, but it's not really the same.
Cool.
So
Y'all don't judge, okay? It's going to be a Mai Tai for me.
vodka dirty
Mai
martini.
Tai. No, I think it's great.
Mai Tai?
Light rum,
Oh,
dark
that's
rum?
amazing.
Yeah, that's a great cocktail.
Yep.
Super
That's a fun
classic.
time.
Yeah.
All right, ready?
Yep.
Best food to pair with whiskey.
I'm on this barbecue kick right now. I just had some brisket with whiskey. You wouldn't think it would work. It works so well.
So good.
It works so well.
Your brisket?
Brisket.
Cheese.
Good one. Good one.
Food truck at
I know your
Nickel City.
answer. It comes
Oh,
in a
yes.
can.
Burger. It comes in a
Tuna.
can. Ew.
Or not. Or
Canned
Comes in a
salmon.
Canned
can?
bottle.
I
was going to say pickles.
Oh, pickles, best
pickleback?
food.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no. Well, I'm thinking of like actual food. I'm like burgers and cheese curds.
No, that's
Nickel City cheese curds?
You're a
Yeah.
dive bar girl. You're a dive bar girl.
I am.
Oh, man.
That's why I love you.
Yeah.
Oops, I said on camera.
I'm chocolate. Chocolate.
Chocolate.
Right? Chocolate's good.
Oh.
Chocolate's a good one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that.
I wasn't thinking dessert wise. I was
You ever
thinking like
notice how
wholeheartedly
certain
meal.
pairings bring out other flavors?
Dude, 100%, man. Just like when you mentioned smoking cigars. Whiskey tastes so different when you smoke a cigar.
Yep.
And so I'm not a big cigar person, but when I drink certain whiskeys, I want to, like the Joseph Magnus cigar blend. Oh, my God.
Knob Creek, 18 year with a cigar.
Really? Yeah.
Mine would be blown.
Yeah, cigar. Do you have a favorite whiskey with cigar?
I mean, the cigar blends
Mm-hmm.
with a cigar, totally different. On their own, some of them are a little rough, but
Right.
with a cigar,
It really changes it, right?
Yeah.
It changes
Some are
it
rough,
so much.
but the Joseph Magnus cigar blend on its own is
on
fine.
That's
its own,
very-
that's one that you can
Shout
drink
out to
with.
Nancy Fraley, man.
That's very interesting that whiskey distilleries companies will put out a specific whiskey cigar blend out there. But how do they, so obviously they know the profile of the whiskey cigar blend, but how do they know what you're going to choose to smoke? And how do they know that that is going to pair so well?
It's the blenders. It's the
Yeah, they're trying to find a specific flavor that they think works well.
Tobacco, leather,
leathery.
you know.
Exactly.
And then you have
That's
two
very
options. You
interesting.
can oppose the flavors or you can match the flavors. So some people want it to be tobacco, leather. Other people want it to be maybe sweet, like they say they'll use cognac and things like that to balance it out.
Exactly. Some people like
So
that
I
balance.
guess if you're going into a place and you're like, I'm drinking this cigar mash blend.
Yeah.
I know what the tasting notes in that is, so this is what I'm looking for in the cigar.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, exactly. All right, ready? If I could drink one bottle of whiskey for the rest of my life, it would be. I got mine already.
Melicorn.
Hey, shout out to Heaven Hill. Melicorn's good. Nothing wrong with Melicorn.
Sorry, this is one that I just like. I like your question, and I
go
want to
first.
take it serious.
I'll go first. Mine's the E.H. Taylor small batch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Good answer, because it's
Really
very.
good answer.
You could drink it
Love
at any
E.H. Taylor
time.
small batch.
That's
Yeah.
a great bottle.
Yours is Melicorn for sure?
No, absolutely not.
There's nothing wrong with Melicorn. There's nothing
No,
wrong with
I know.
Melicorn.
For the rest of my life.
Yeah, like let's say you
Most stuff.
I know.
you only have one bottle and that's the only thing you can keep.
Man. I'm just trying to think of something I just killed.
I know it's a hard question.
It
It's a hard question.
is.
Yeah,
It's-
you're really committing.
Honestly,
guys, it's
I
not real
think-
life. You're not. I'm not gonna hold you to this.
This is real life.
Yeah, this
This
is.
is.
I
couldn't
think
get
I'm
any
gonna
more real.
go. Honestly, I think I'm pretty sure that I have mine.
Yeah. You're up.
Henry McKenna.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, you love Henry McKenna.
Yeah.
So you guys keep thinking, but here's my thing about Henry McKenna. I love Henry McKenna. 5 years ago, that was a $35 bottle,
I know.
and then they found the bourbon hype, and they
Yeah.
decided, now what is it? $70, $65, $70
Like
now?
70,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's still a 10-year. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. It's a 10-year from
Yeah.
Heaven Hill. It's good. It's a really good bottle, but
Yeah.
it's like, man, it's like the Russell's 13 we're about to, it's like they just keep raising the price, raising the
Yeah.
price.
But I mean, it's just.
It's a
It's
solid bottle.
solid.
I agree.
Yeah.
100%. Solid bottle. Jeremiah and Anthony are still really
I
just
know.
like,
I just.
Word.
I can't commit. We talked about this on a deeper level. I can't commit. The next. I was just gonna
One
say.
that comes off. That's so hard.
I was just gonna say Michter's 10. I know it's extremely hard to get, but you didn't say it has to be easy
no,
to get.
no, it's whatever bottle. It
So
could
if
be
it's
G-
whatever, I could drink Michter's 10 every single day.
It could be George C. Stagg if you want. It could be.
Oh, okay.
George
He's like, oh, okay, Waller Millennium.
WLW.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's a song.
That's just they're too high proof for me for every day.
The hazmat. Yeah. Well, that leads
Well,
me to
do they come in that high?
the 2014 one's hazmat, but not all of them are hazmat.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What is
William
WLW?
LaRue Weller. So that's like
They're high.
it's one of the Buffalo
Oh,
Trace
gotcha.
collections.
Okay.
Yeah. So you guys lead me to my next question then. And I know you guys have drank some insane shit. Shoot, can I cuss? Sorry. Oh.
Oops.
Insane stuff. And I know, and it's really hard to like pull back, but tell me your favorite pour. And it might be like the experience was so cool that you thought this pour was amazing. But
That's a great
what is
addition
your
to it.
most memorable pour?
Yeah, let's do one for you too, Kelsey.
Yeah.
For me,
That's hard for me.
You guys have drank some insane stuff too.
I know.
I get so much FOMO just watching your guys' stories.
I'm still gonna do my original answer, even though we had a crazy tasting, and you can maybe even use that one as our most insane. So that'll add to the story. And make sure you do that because I just told you to do it. I'm gonna do for my birthday about like 3 years ago. I went to one of my favorite bars in Nickel City in Austin.
Shout out to Nickel City.
And they're a dive bar with great bar food and a crazy whiskey selection. And some of the stuff is like underpriced.
Amazing.
And I said, I'm going to do a crazy pour for the first time, which I never do. I always look for value. But this one day I wanted to splurge. So they had a Michter's 20-year-old. And Michter's 10, like I said, is one of my favorites.
Dude.
I said, how much is it?
Dude.
For 1 ounce was
Dude.
$125. Dude. I tipped him 20% on $125 to go.
You're a good guy. Dude.
And it lived up to the hype. It was everything that you would hope for.
So the next is a 25 for you then.
Yeah, I mean, to try that would be crazy.
And you guys, I can't even, I would have such a different answer than you because I've seen the things that you guys have poured.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. Jeremiah?
We've had some incredible.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, double eagle, very rare.
That was my answer.
Tons of different
Sick.
stuff. But one of my favorite memories, and actually I think an amazing whiskey, was Hibiki 21 Year.
Oh.
My friend over here had a bottle, and we brought that bottle. It's like very early on when he moved to Austin, and he brought that bottle to he brought it to an undisclosed location. And we were
Mount Bonal.
okay.
Mount
I
Bonal.
don't know.
Oh, Mount Bonal. Yeah.
I'm
Overlooking
not
the
from
bridge.
around here. So, and it was just a combination of sitting there in nature, which we probably shouldn't be drinking there, but
Oh, it's fine. Yeah,
everybody does.
sitting
Part of
there,
nature.
It's Austin.
Everyone drinks.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
looking for me, you know, like nature, it just
Man.
brings me back, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, just this is early in his Austin year, so like it was like, okay, he's gonna be all right.
Yeah, he's gonna be-
he's gonna survive this.
Yeah,
and
he's
then we
gonna
were
make
drinking, and then the 21 year that
Just-
there's like a grape in there that's just like outrageous. So
Yeah.
that combination of the experience and
Yeah.
and that pour was phenomenal.
I mean,
that's
I,
cool.
I think, dude, I think you said it. Like, one of the reasons why I love whiskey so much is, I mean, obviously the brown water is amazing,
yeah.
but the experience. Like, I didn't know you 6 months ago. I didn't know half the people on Instagram. And now you go everywhere and you go to whiskey places and you bond with so many people. And it's not just about the whiskey. It's just you meet so many cool people. And that's what it's all about, right? It's meeting people, developing relationships. And that's my favorite part about whiskey. And then the whiskey, obviously the whiskey. But like you said, people and experiences make what you drink, right? And that's so cool. Kelsey.
Oh, I love that.
She's like the pour right now I'm getting right now, the Hardin Creek 17.
Honestly, it's really hard for me to put a specific whiskey to a specific time because I really just love that every second of every day, and
Yeah.
also just love drinking whiskey.
You are, yeah. Yeah.
But if I could remember anything, and it's funny that I say this because
If I can remember anything.
we're going here after we went to Kinfolk, the three of us, and Jeremiah's wife, Chelsea. And I can't remember, but I can't remember if it was Angel's Envy or if it was Eagle Rare. And it was either a rye, right?
The
It
Angels
was,
Envy
it
The
was
cast
an
strength rye? With the
Angel's.
rum.
Yes.
Oh, the rum cast finish.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it was. And
Yeah.
I took one sip of that, and I was just
I feel like that opened up
totally.
your rye.
Yes, and
Third
I
eye.
was
Yeah.
absolutely set back by it, and I was like, this is. I think that was actually when I had a whole new flavor profile for
Yeah.
rye.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And I was going to propose that night, but I didn't want to ruin your moment. So I held back. Yeah. And it's still happening. Anyway.
But I think if I could go back from it to a special moment that I was absolutely blown away, like hanging with good company, making the best memories, it would be that.
Right, yeah. That's what it's all about.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
What about you?
Oh yeah, mine's quick and easy. So bunch of friends got together. Austin Whiskey Society. We all always do bottle shares, right? So one of my buddies, Daniel, brought over the 2014 WLW, and it was a hazmat. It's my first hazmat. So I drank it. It burned an entire hole through my throat, and I never been able to eat since then. I haven't eaten. No, I'm kidding. But again, experience. We were all drinking it. Everyone was like, "This is amazing," and everyone. It's like when you experience a really cool moment together. You're like, I'll always remember this. So that's mine, 2014
Cool.
WLW.
And that was early in your whiskey?
This was like three months ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So early. I mean,
It was like 3 days ago.
I'm an amateur,
So
dude.
you had a few under your belt.
I had a
but-
couple under my belt. Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's always fun thought exercise to go through.
For sure. Man.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because we are spoiled. We get to try so many different things.
Right.
And it sometimes is overwhelming to, it's good to take a second and think about that, for
Yeah.
sure.
And then all the people that are on social media that I get a bunch of people that message me being like, "Oh, you're so lucky. How do you taste that?" It's like, honestly, you meet the whiskey people, you meet a bunch of friends, you share your bottles, and then it'll come back to you. Whiskey karma is real.
Yeah.
Whiskey karma is real.
True.
And I think everyone in the whiskey community can vouch for that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, you share your stuff, someone's going to share it back with you.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll be a good spot to like end this one.
Yeah.
This has been super fun.
So much
I
fun,
feel
man.
like we flow very easily.
Yeah.
Now, Kelsey, you have to be in every one. No, I'm kidding.
Fine with
But
me.
you should, though.
As long as I can come in leggings and a sweatshirt next time and have Nell behind me. Should we end on the whiskey dog names?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a good end.
Let's do this. So
That's a good
end.
let's
I feel-
everybody take a second and think about it. I'm going to go with mine.
I mean, I already did give you two before.
I know, but so I'm going to take
So
one of
those
them.
are no, you can't do those two. Because we
Hold on, say the rule. Say the rule so people know. What is
Okay.
your rule? You got to name your.
So we're gonna go around the table and say dog names that would correspond with whiskey.
Let's do it.
Whiskey names.
So I'm just going to make it
So-
a little better for Instagram.
True.
So we're going to go Okay, ready?
Ready.
So whiskey names that would be great as dog names.
These are the best whiskey names that will be good. I messed up. All right, so these are the best whiskey names for dogs. Wait, these are the best dog names that are related to whiskeys. How's that? Is that better?
Say these will be the top. Yeah. That's
I
great.
like this because now if anybody
first
is
one
this
was-
deep into the podcast, they get to see what we go through.
Yeah. Nobody's watching at
Okay,
this point. Yeah.
last time. I'm going to do it again.
Ready to
Screw
go.
it.
Yeah.
These are the best dog names that are related to whiskey names. Some of our favorite whiskeys, whatever. We're going to think of what we would prefer if we got a dog and we wanted to relate it to whiskey.
I got it. I'm ready for mine.
Okay, you go first.
Staggy.
Staggy.
That's cute.
Staggy, come here,
Little
Staggy.
Staggy boy.
Kelsey?
Oh, I'm gonna go with Booker.
Ooh.
That is a great one. That is a good one,
Booker.
actually.
That's cute.
That's a good. Bucky?
I'm gonna go super basic and say Jameson.
Jameson.
Yeah, I like that one too. I like that, Jamie.
I will say, if me and Anna in the way future ever decide to have children, that would be a boy name
Jameson.
that I would like.
I'm going to go with, come here, little George T. Stag.
Come here,
I'm
GTS.
kidding. I was joking. I was joking.
Come here, Handy.
No, I honestly, thinking about it, I would do Russell.
That's a
Yes.
good one.
Russell.
Yep.
Transition us into
Yeah,
the Russell.
little Russell.
Come here, Russie.
Oh.
Well, anyway, let's finish this episode
Yeah.
because we're going to be doing more in the future. This was great. Thanks for watching. If you're not following us already, follow us on Instagram, The Whisky Boys, on TikTok, The Whisky Boys. Andrew, what's your pages?
Average whiskey drinker.
Average
Yeah,
whiskey
just an
drinker.
average whiskey drinker.
Also, he's doing like a really good thing with the community. If you're in the Texas area, he has the Austin Whiskey Society. It's an incredible. Like I've already seen a lot of what he's doing, and he's really pulling in a lot of new people to try whiskey, or people who already love whiskey to do bottle shares. So some great things are happening there. I don't know. Is there anything else you guys want to add?
No, let's cheers it.
Cheers.
Great. I'll see everyone on the next one.
Cheers.